Okay, we have another great training for you guys today. Today we're talking about conversion mechanisms. And again, as always, join our free Discord, sign up for the live webinar, get our free 12 trainings around this page and get a free preview of 1000x leads. And you can sign up at this link here. So first off, what are conversion mechanisms? So in this context, a conversion mechanism is basically a tool that we're going to use to convert leads into actual calls. So if you think of this, basically this entire process as a bunch of different steps. Number one, run paid ads, post content, make partnerships, and do outreach to get attention. Number two, turn attention into captured leads using lead magnets. Number three, nurture lead magnets so they know, like, and trust you. Number four, get people who know, like, and trust you to book a call. Number five, pitch them your service on the call. Number six, close them on a client. Number seven, deliver a great service. And number eight, ask for referrals. Conversion mechanisms are purely focused on both 3 and 4. So nurturing and getting people to know, like, and trust you so they book a call, or eventually sort of a little bit of pitching just so they sort of know who you are and they sort of know a bit more about what you do. In terms of the types of conversion mechanisms that we're going to be concerned with, I'm sure there are many potential types of conversion mechanisms, but in the 1000x leads funnel, we're going to specifically talk about 5. So that's live workshops, webinars, newsletters, appointment setters, and community. So having all of these 5 makes you an extremely well-rounded business with almost no leads going to waste. Each one of these conversion mechanisms is going to cross-promote and incorporate with another one. So they're actually all going to make each other work better, which is the type of thing we love because it's a little bit more leveraged than, you know, if you just have one and it doesn't really can't really make each other work better if there's only one of them. So the more contact they have with you and your conversion mechanisms, the greater likelihood that they will actually book a call. And you want to keep in mind, like I said, live workshops, webinars, newsletters, appointment setters, and communities. In terms of the funnel, excuse me, I just had a almost sneeze, good to me. In terms of the funnel, basically what we're looking at is the 1000x leads funnel. So if you want to click on this image, which I will, you're going to be able to see here the webinar, the live workshop, the newsletter, the community, and the appointment setter are here. And these are essentially the conversion mechanisms. So we have all this traffic, we have the lead magnets, we have all this stuff, but basically where we want you to go is to our conversion mechanisms. It's kind of self-explanatory. In terms of what's actually circled, like I said, the webinar, live workshop, newsletter, community, and appointment setter, that's what we're really focusing on. That's what we're talking about. And what you'll see is that there are multiple different parts. So it's important to promote each and every one of your conversion mechanisms throughout your nurturing process. So we do this for the same reason we have multiple lead magnets, and that is that we never know which type of conversion mechanism is going to resonate with the most people or with a specific type of personal market. So some people might want to watch a webinar, some people might prefer a live workshop, some people might read your newsletter every single week, some might want to just join a community and get to know everyone else, and some might be reached out by an appointment today because they just don't take action that much. But the key is that we never know which will be the most effective with any given person or target audience, and if we only have one, we're going to potentially miss out on a high percentage of sales calls. So it's really important that we have them all if we're going to scale that high. Now we're going to talk about live workshops. So live workshops are a really great way to convert leads into calls. Basically, you want to pick any day and time that you can be consistent with every single week, e.g. Thursday nights at 7 p.m. EST. And you want to have a consistent schedule for these live workshops, which is very key. During these live workshops, you typically want to do a live demonstration, teaching, whatever it may be, about a subcategory of your niche. And these live workshops should be about the same thing that your lead magnets are about, because that is an easy way to come up with a topic. So think of them as expanding on your lead magnets in a live setting with a live audience. Some things to consider is that you want to get their name, email, and phone number to sign up, and you want to send them email and SMS reminders the day before and 5 minutes before you go live. Then you want to do that every single week after they're on your list as well. And you want to aim for these to be about 60 minutes. Then they should be really, really quality, and you should spend time preparing for them and not just wing it. It's really, really important that these are good. And as the same with all our stuff, you want to make sure that these should be worth at least $100. If you wouldn't pay $100 to attend your workshop, it's really not good enough, and you're going to need to prepare way, way more. Then what you want to have is you want to have an actionable part of your live workshop that they can implement within 24 hours of attending. This is a very important step for the attendees to feel like they really got something out of it. You want to have some action steps they can actually go away and implement within 24 hours and feel like they're getting value and actually getting value as well. It's really important. It's very simple and very actionable. Then what you want to do after that is basically invite them to join your community after attending the live workshop, and then that's going to give them another conversion mechanism. Then when they sign up for your live workshop, they're basically going to be automatically added to your newsletter and to your CRM for your appointment setter to follow up with. And then basically you just need them to get into your community and watch the pre-recorded webinar, and you can call these out and link them in chat during the live workshop as well. In terms of pre-recorded webinars, you can think of this as essentially like a pre-recorded and distributed sales call. All the stuff you go over, all the examples, the results, you'd show all the hacks, etc., that you would use to differentiate yourself. This can all be pretty much recorded on a 30 to 60 minute pre-recorded webinar. The purpose of this is likely to sell them ahead of time so that you can get them on a call. And then basically when you're on the call, all you have to do is go over the terms and ask for the close. You don't really want to take too many calls where you have to just waste time justifying why they should buy. It's kind of just a waste of time. In an ideal world, a lot of these leads are sold ahead of time, and all you have to do is really answer some questions, tell them the price, what to expect, and so on. Some things to consider with this is that you do not necessarily have to shoot the entire thing in one take. A lot of these long webinars can be kind of tedious. You might get tired, like you might see me yawn sometimes, and your energy levels would really need to remain pretty high throughout. So you want to break up this 60-minute webinar into maybe 10 6-minute parts and edit them together. And then you can use an actual webinar software for this. So you have specific processes and data analytics that you just can't get on YouTube or Zoom or something like that. So you want to think of a webinar as basically a long VSL with specifics. And then within the actual webinar, you want to touch on what you do, what benefit they get, what they have to do to get it, specific client results, specific testimonials, some sweet hacks or value bombs they're going to remember, give them an actionable piece of advice that they can implement in 24 hours, and then explain your offer, the price, the guarantees, and so on. And then you want to tackle your webinar with the mindset that it should be so good that if you were going to give away this information for free, your actual paid product must be absolutely insane. That's kind of the goal. Then in terms of the newsletter, basically the newsletter is the most long-term conversion mechanism. You should send at least one per week, giving people tremendous value every week. And the logic behind this is that only about 3% of any given market is looking for your service at any given time. And you don't really want to include the other 97%. They may buy from us one day. We don't want to exclude them, because they may buy from us one day. It's really important that they stay in contact with us and we stay in front of them, because if they are going to buy our service one day, we want them to buy from us, the person that's given them so much value on the newsletter for so long. So by sending a newsletter every single week, we build a lot of trust, we get people to like us and build a lot of goodwill so that when they are ready to buy the service we provide, we're the first person they think of. It's really, really important. And then in addition to this, a newsletter can be a very valuable standalone business with other monetization opportunities like sponsorships, co-registration, affiliate stuff. It's really, really valuable. Some things to consider with that though, is that you want to grow your newsletter with paid ads as well as organic content. Your paid ads will let you go out about 100 times faster, but of course they cost money. And then organic content will typically let you get a higher quality of subscribers, which are also free, but they will take longer. And really ideally, you'd probably just have both. Then what you want to do is use Sparkloop, which is co-registration, and sell digital products in your newsletter and on your newsletter with a thank you page to help you recover the cost of ad spend so you can grow your newsletter for free. And then what you want to keep in mind as well is that for 95% of people, once per week is the correct frequency to send a newsletter. Most just don't have the persistence and capacity to make high quality newsletters more frequently than this. And the best obviously is a daily newsletter, but it takes a lot of time and effort. And there are really only so many things that you can talk about in that newsletter. So you kind of want to keep a bit of, you want to keep a bit of the content. I personally do daily, but I don't know who's watching this. So if you can't do daily, that's fine. If you think my newsletter sucks, that's fine. You can, check it out, theacquisitionletter.com. Let me know if you think it sucks. And then what you can do is you can make it branded for your company or on a different domain if you want to make it a completely standalone business that can kind of be rolled up, but both are equally valid and both have pros and cons. Then what you want to do in each of your newsletters, you want to link your live workshops, webinars, and communities and more. And the reason you want to do that is so they have a CTA there or a call to action that, if there's, ever a time that they're about to convert, they have some links, they have some stuff that they can go to actually get more information about what you do and how you can help. And as a result of that, it's really important that your newsletter is actually good, because if it isn't good, people are actually going to have a worse opinion of you than if you didn't have a newsletter at all. You don't really need to have stress about it, but it should be so good that people look forward to your newsletter in their inbox every single week. I had a client today tell me that he watches my newsletter or he reads my newsletter every single day that I post it, and that's a current client. He just wants to hear more because he knows the newsletter is good. That's a little case study for my newsletter, so you should go read it. And then when people hear about it and say, oh yeah, Leo's newsletter is so good, I'm going to go read it. It's like, okay. And then you get a bit of organic growth and it just sort of works. And you can sell to basically the new referrals. So it makes sense that way. Then what you want to do is make sure your newsletter is as readable as possible. So sections, headlines, graphics, and more. It doesn't really matter how many subscribers you have if no one reads the entire thing. Half the battle is actually getting people to read it. So even from day one, you want to make sure that your newsletter is really, really on point. It's really, really strong, because if you can't, write a good letter to one person, you're definitely not going to be able to write a good letter to hundreds of thousands of people. Then the fifth conversion mechanism is an appointment setter. So an appointment setter is a very important type of employee to convert leads into calls. And this role is sometimes referred to as an SDR, or a sales development representative. And in the context of this funnel, basically what they do is contact every single one of our leads and subscribers and see if they want to book a call. And in some cases with bigger offers and sales teams, they will also qualify the leads in the process, because we don't really want to just be relying on people to magically book a call. If we do rely on them, we will miss out on a lot of potential. There are always going to be a lot of people on our email list or who opt into stuff that still don't really know what you do, no matter how much you tell them, and who is kind of interested, and they might be, having problems in their business, but they might not be aware enough or interested enough to actually take initiative and book a call. So an appointment setter is going to help both of these groups to manually contact people, answer questions and more, and also obviously qualifying them, like I said. And they may use a combination of email, SMS, and phone calls, but in a lot of cases, the phone calls are not the best use of time in terms of cold prospecting. So you want to be doing email and SMS prospecting a lot of the time. Some things to consider with this is that if a prospect is not ready to book a call, get your appointment setter to send links to your other conversion mechanisms, such as your live workshops, webinars, community, and so on. You have these nurturing mechanisms here, so it's kind of like ammunition for your setter to use in order to continually nurture the lead. Make sure that they're on the newsletter, things like this, and basically use all of this ammunition that you have to fire at the prospect. Obviously not to say you're going to fire missiles at your prospect, but basically use them to help your prospect along the journey. And you want to have a set flow for this, just like you'd have an email flow. And then basically what that means is that you're going to consistently email and text them on an exact flow every single time, because when you're scaling up, it's really important that you have it productized so you know exactly what to do, and your setter knows exactly what to do time and time again. Then another thing to note is that you want to put your company name in each SMS or email. You'll be amazed at how much stuff people sign up for that they just completely forget who you are, as well as the fact that if your setter is emailing them, they probably don't associate, just because your setter is called John, that doesn't mean I know John works with Matt. It's kind of like you're not typically on a first name basis with everyone on someone's team. So make sure that you sign up, you sign off with who you are, who you work for, etc. And main thing, as always, we want to approach these conversations with providing more value. We don't want to be super salesy. We want to just nurture them. We want to see if it's a good fit and make sure that it actually is going to work for them. The key to that is that you're going to be using a CRM. So you can use a CRM such as close.com for your appointment setter. Like I said, we don't really want to be pushing people to buy if it doesn't make sense for them. But in that case, it might make sense for them down the line. It might make sense to follow up with them in 6 months or a year or 2 years, whatever it may be. So if you don't want to try and remember that manually, oh yeah, I remember 2 years ago, I've got to text John. That doesn't really happen. What you want to do is you want to use a CRM and make notes for yourself and keep track of who you're following up with, who you're managing, who you're collecting notes for, and basically just keeping track of all your leads. In terms of hiring an appointment setter, in my opinion, you probably should hire an appointment setting agency or recruiter and get appointment setters who are pre-trained and know what they're doing. It might be expensive upfront, but it's going to save you a lot of time, effort, and wasted leads. And if you compare the upfront cost with the amount of potential sales you lose from hiring an appointment setter that doesn't know what they're doing, it can probably be 10 to 20 times cheaper to pay a price and hire a pre-trained one upfront. Then number 6, we have our community. Basically, an overview of the community is that it's one of the strongest conversion mechanisms because it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Number 1, it allows you to demonstrate a lot of expertise and build trust. And number 2, it acts as an inherent form of social proof. Not only are you the expert in your community, but they can also see there's maybe hundreds or thousands of people that are in there to get your advice too. And that kind of conveys a subtle sense of scarcity and the idea that you must be in high demand or you might be busy, etc., etc. So like anything you get in life as well, keep in mind that you get out of the community what you put into it. So the more you post, the more active you are, the more helpful you are, the more clients you will get from your community. And it's also a really great place to post updates and help people and be seen and active. Some things to consider with a community. So a lot of their platforms out there like Circle, School, and so on are okay, but in my opinion, these don't really capture the true community aspect because they don't have a live chat. So they're not really great for the community feel and the vibe. They might be good for organizing and housing content, but it's kind of a deal breaker when using them. It's not as if they are absolutely terrible, but typically Discord works the best. You want to try and post at least 1 video every day per weekday, and then do whatever you can to get a post about your community on their social media and stuff. So you want to get that viral flywheel. You want to try and get the people in the community to post about it on social media. It can also be a good idea to have a large free community that provides good value and then upsell them to a low ticket paid community, which has more value for $50 to $100 per month. This can act as a new revenue stream and act as a bit of a feeder into your main offer and kind of progress people down the funnel. Then you would consider hiring an overseas community manager, or even maybe more than one, maybe one in South America, one in Eastern Europe, and one in Asia. So there's always someone active in your community. And then you want to have a section for wins in your community and encourage people to post in there. Then you can use those wins as social proof for your social media as well. Then what you want to do is get everyone in your community to write reviews on a third-party website like Clutch, Upsy, Google Business, G2, Trustpilot, and so on. And then you can get a ton of good reviews this way, and way more people than you would ever get, if you were just asking high-paying clients for reviews. We like to house them on Discord, maybe School. This is kind of a dynamic thing because Hormozi just bought School, and maybe it's going to get a lot better. You can link up to something like Kajabi or School or Circle if you want to upload the content in that manner. But Discord for chat is typically the best. It's free, easy to organize, easy to sign up. Most people are familiar with it at this point, and typically it's just the best option for your community for all these reasons. And they have a great app too. And a lot of people already have it as well. So it's really important. A lot of people are already on the Discord app because there's just a higher volume of sort of communities on there and activity. So they kind of get a network effect in that sense. But yeah, this was conversion mechanisms. If you found this interesting, you found it valuable, you can book a call with us to talk about 1000x leads and how we can help you scale up and build a sellable asset. Until then, feel free to keep consuming the free content, and I will see you soon.